each year there's a cap. Each year there's 85,000 visas that are given under this category. Now, is grouped into two parts. 65,000 is for regular applicants, while 20,000 is for those with a US master degree or higher. Hey everybody, hi, how are you doing today? If you've been enjoying this series I've been making about immigration, please let me know in the comment section and let me know what more topic you would want me to talk about. Today I've been getting a lot of questions about the H-1B visa, and we are going to talk about that. How does it affect nurses, and what did our President Trump have to say about that visa? Listen to this clip and then come back to the rest of the video.
Mr. President, there's been some debate within your orbit over whether or not to keep or eliminate H-1B visas. What's your position on that? Do you want to keep H-1Bs or do you want to get rid of them?
I like both sides of the argument, but I also like very competent people coming into our country, even if that involves them training and helping other people that may not have the qualifications they do. But I don't want to stop. And I'm not just talking about engineers. I'm talking about people at all levels. We want competent people coming into our country. And HB1, I know the program very well. I use the program. Maitre d's, wine, experts, even waiters, high quality waiters. You got to get the best people. Now, then you go into people like Larry, and he needs engineers, and Masa needs, and this gentleman needs engineers like nobody's ever needed engineers, right? So we have to have the quality people coming in. Now, by doing that, we're expanding businesses, and that takes care of everybody. So I'm sort of on both sides of the argument, but what I really do feel is that we have to let really competent people, great people come into our country, and we do that through the H1 program.
So first of all, we're going to start off defining what the H1 visa is. So this is a non-immigrant visa that allows US employers to hire foreign workers for specialty occupations that require theoretical or technical expertise. And a bachelor's degree or higher is required for this kind of visa. It's more common in fields like IT, engineering, finance, healthcare, and education. What are some of the key things that we need to know about the H-1B visa? I know you might have been hearing the visa over and over again, and some of you are wondering why you cannot apply for it or why you can apply for it. Let's just see some important things to know about the H-1B visa. So first of all, it requires a specialty occupation. So the job requires specialized training. It could be computer science, it could be engineering, medicine, law, accounting, but something specialized, like a profession, for you to be able to apply for a job to file for you. It can't just be anything. Like, you can't just be a cashier, or like you can't just apply for the H-1B visa with any kind of job. It has to be a profession, right? And then number two, you cannot apply for it yourself. You have to have an employer. So it's employer sponsored. And then number three, basically, it lasts for about 3 years. The H-1B visa is granted for 3 years. And you have the option of extending the visa to 6 years. But the only option to extend for more than 6 years is only when your case has been filed. For example, if your employer filed a petition for you for an actual EB3 visa green card, that's when they can extend your H1B visa for you to still be in status while you're waiting for the actual green card. But the other thing people do after the of the 6 years, they either leave the United States for 1 year and then come back and start the process all over again, or look for another means of status in order to stay more, because the H1B visa time is expired. Another thing to know about this visa is that each year there's a cap. Each year there's 85,000 visas that are given under this category. Now, it's grouped into two parts. 65,000 is for regular applicants, while 20,000 is for those with a US master degree or higher. Right? So that's how they group the categories. If applications exceed this cap, like if they get more than 85,000 applicants in a year, what they do is they use a lottery system to select petitions. So I don't know if you've heard sometimes that the H1 visa is a lottery system and you may or may not get it. So your employer filing the H1 visa for you is not a guarantee that you're going to get that visa at that particular point in time. The applications for that year might have exceeded the number and then you might be under a lottery system. It's not guaranteed, right? Also, like I said before, it's a dual intent visa, so meaning while you're on the visa you can also start applying for the EB3 visa if your employer decides to go forward with that step for you. Also, it has family benefits. Now let's say the family benefits: your spouse and unmarried children under 21 years can join you in the US and they will be on H4 visas. So if you have a wife, if you have a husband, and you have children that are under 24 years and you get this H1B visa to come to the US, they can all be under your H1B visa, but they will have H4 visa. Now, these H4 visas can work in the US if the H1B visa holder is on the path to green card. So meaning your dependents can work if you are on the path to green card, meaning if your application have been put in for an EB3 visa, green card, EB1, EB2, however way you plan to get that green card, if you've started the process, then your dependents can work. We've looked at some common H1B jobs. We have software engineers. These are just examples, right? The software developers, all sorts of engineers, financial analysts, doctors, nurses, university professors. So basically the process is when your employer files a labor condition application with the Department of Labor to ensure fair wages. The next thing is your employer files a H1B petition with US Citizenship and Immigration Services, which is USCIS. And then upon approval, the applicant applies for a visa at a US consulate and then enters the US to work. So you can either apply for this from outside the US or inside the US, depending on the situation you are at that point in time. The benefits of this visa is you're able to work in the US in a specialty occupation, and you have the opportunity to apply for a green card, either the EB1 like I talked about, the EB2, or the employer-based EB3. And then of course your spouse and children can live with you in the US. Now let's look at the limitations. This, a lot of people have been asking about this visa. Can I come in with this visa? The limitations are you can only work for the sponsoring employer. So it's not like the EB3 visa where you can just leave your employer and go to the next one. You have legal right to work here. You can, in the H1B visa, you can only work for that employer that brought you in. If you want to change employers and go to another one, that one has to file a new petition for you. If you're in the UK, it's just like your COS. If you're leaving your trust or your NHS, you have to get another COS from the other company. That's how the H1B visa is. Also, there's no guarantee of the selection of the amount of lottery for each year. So you're literally on a waiting game and waiting to hear a response of either yes or no. And also it's temporary. So like I said, maximum is 6 years and it can be extended if there's a green card being petitioned for you at that point. It's a good way to come in, but it's not a permanent solution to staying. As the name sounds, it's a temporary work visa. Now the questions bugging in your mind, can nurses apply for this visa? The short answer is yes, and the long answer is it depends. Now, for H1B visa, the visa only requires bachelor's degree or higher, and we all know that most nurses have associate degrees. So except you have a bachelor's degree, you cannot apply for the H1B visa. So for those of us that attended School of Nursing, associate degrees, College of Health, College of Nursing, you're not eligible to get the H1B visa. And also H1B visa is mostly for specialized fields. So you can apply even if you have a bachelor's degree in nursing, like your employer can apply for you, but the chances of you getting it, so they'll pay more attention to those in specialty fields, like probably maybe oncology, A&E, that's the ER, the theater, that's the OR, or just specialized fields, so that when they're making the petition, they're able to explain why you're very needed for that position at that point in time. So that's one. If you have a master's degree in nursing or higher, there's a better chance of getting the H1B visa. But then you have to be on the route to the EB3 visa. You can come in with the H1B visa with an employer, since it'll be faster than waiting for the EB3 visa from your home country. But they have to be a written contract, an agreement that your employer will file the EB3 visa for you. Now, some of the contracts I've seen, or some of the agreements I've seen, some employers will tell you, oh, you have to work for us for 2 years or for 3 years, and then after that they will file the EB3 visa for you. But the problem with that is that the H1B visa expires after 3 years and it can be renewed for another 3 years, right? And then if you're saying you're going to start the EB3 visa after 3 years or after 2 years, what are the chances that the H1B visa will be renewed, and what are the chances that how soon are you going to get the EB3 visa? With the way the retrogression is going and how long it's taking, it might end up being longer than that. And for the time being, you still have to stay with that employer until the EB3 visa comes out, until you hold your green card in your hands before you can change employers. So it's going to be a very long waiting game. The good thing is, okay, oh well, you might already have been here, but then just know that you're going to be tied to that employer till you get your green card, right? I say all this to say that even though this is a faster way to come to the US, but I don't say choose your poison, but like make your choice, right? Should you want to come through the H1B visa and wait with your employer until they decide to file the EB3 visa for you? Or do you want to come in with the H1B visa and then file the EB1 or EB2 visa for you? If you don't know what these visas are, please watch my last video. Or do you want to wait in your country or wherever you are for the EB3 visa, or even start applying for the EB1 or EB2 visa from wherever you are? Over the past couple of videos, I've been listing different kinds of visas that are alternative to the EB3 visa. So make more research on these types of visas and decide what you want to do. And the faster you decide, the better for you because we don't know where all this is going to. But basically, Trump policy is not against the H1B visa. He still believes that people that have something to give to America should still be given the H1B visa and should still be made to work on this visa. The problem is, I hope that they are not being paid less than what other people are earning doing the same job. That will be where the problem will be, because it will just be like you're using the person, right? I just hope that that's not what the case will be. But so far, so good. He's after best minds. He's a typical businessman. He's not against the H1B visa. People should still be given the H1B visa to come into the country to work. But like I said, it is not permanent. So you're literally working, and if you cannot find a way to stay, you're going back home. So you decide what you want to do and how you want to move forward with this whole process. I hope with this video has given you more clarity about the H1B visa, what Trump is saying, what's happening, and where you stand as a nurse on this H1B visa. I don't think I introduced myself in the beginning of this video. Well, if you're new here, my name is Success. My real OGs know me. I post content like this about nursing in the US. I currently live in Phoenix, Arizona, and I have been dishing out lots of information around this topic for the past couple of days. Let me know if there's any other thing you want me to talk about in the comment section. And what do you think? What do you think? I need you to talk to me about this H1B visa. Is it something you're willing to go through, or do you think it's a total bad idea for a nurse? Let me know what you think in the comment section, and I will be there reading it. Click to watch my next video. I have an information about a good way to come into the US. Currently, I am going to talk about it. So far so good. I think it's going to be one of the fastest ways to come in. Yes, that will be my next video. So stay tuned. I love you guys and see you. Bye.